after this game, I know people want to come at Daniel Jones' neck, and I'm a big component, and I love the Daniel Jones saga that we have on this show.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't put the blame on Daniel Jones, really.
Facts.
Outside of Saquon, this man ain't got no weapons.
I agree 100%. Their O-line looked like hot garbage. Hot garbage.
Evan Neal
What's his
looks
name?
like hot garbage.
Evan O'Neal? Evan O'Neal, that's his name?
You might as well call him Evan O'Neal. I'm not
Get him up out of there. Get him up out of there. He was getting beat. And like you said, Greg, like you said, Micah Parsons could make any team look crazy, right? He can make any O-line look crazy, but there was no reason at all for Daniel Jones to be getting pressured the way he was getting pressured. And if it wasn't for his athleticism and making some plays on his own, right, and being elusive in the pocket and be able to feel it coming before it actually gets there, he would have got sacked a ton more. But again, you can't put the blame on Daniel Jones because everything that I saw from him in that second half, mainly in that second half on Monday night, he looked good. He was throwing the ball downfield. He kept his eyes downfield. He knew when to get out of the pocket and tuck it and run it. Like, he looked good. Receivers were dropping the ball. Trayvon Diggs' interception wouldn't have happened if the receiver didn't fall. Kenny Golladay, get him up out of there too. Daniel Jones played well. I thought I didn't really see a lot of flaws. And the one thing that stood out to me is this kid's athletic. This kid knows how to tuck it and run, and that's a huge strength for him. So I liked what I saw from him, and I think people got to pump the brakes on the Daniel Jones conversation in terms of if he's going to be the Giants' future quarterback, because I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be. Put some weapons around him. I think he could be a strong contender in that division.
It's too late in the process at this point, though. That's what I think. I agree with you. I think he could be the guy moving forward, but at this point, they declined his option. So now you're kind of out of options with him moving forward, unless you're going to re-sign him to a one-year deal. But at that point, it's like now you're playing with fire. Like, this team didn't draft him. Well, the GM coach combo, they didn't draft him. So they're not necessarily tied to him. So they can just clean house. Like, they're already starting to do it. Golladay is not playing as much as he should for someone getting paid as much as he is. And, I mean, it sucks because I feel like Daniel Jones could go somewhere else and end up being pretty good because they got the weapons, they got the line, they got everything that the Giants failed to give him. It's kind of like Sam Darnold. The guy was talented coming out, put nothing around him. So you can't really fault the kid for, not succeeding. Who would succeed in this scenario? It's like you put Mahomes in the same scenario. Do you think he's what he is now? I don't think so. So
Miles said something that I've been thinking about the last 24, 48 hours since the game, and is that I can only think of one quarterback in the NFL that would be successful under these circumstances, and it's not Mahomes, it's not Josh Allen, it's Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's the only person that's athletic enough to make guys miss that are running right at him, get yards on the ground, make teams pay for selling out. Basically the way they do when they pass rush against the Giants because they know their O-line's bad. But look, the Daniel Jones is bad narrative. I've been fighting it for years. I'm from year one when I saw him come out. The biggest issue he had was fumbling. But like when you have the O-line, the performance you guys saw on Monday, that's been like literally, I swear, 75% of the games he's played, the O-line's looked that bad. It's been disastrous. Daniel Jones never had a fair chance to be anything with this regime. The owner knows it. The owner came so much as said so before the season started. The regime that came in, it makes sense not to allocate funds to a guy you didn't draft. And there's no good film on him besides his rookie year. It makes sense, right? But I wouldn't be surprised at all if by the end of the season, Daniel Jones is the guy they choose to go forward with. I'll be honest. I was completely turned off to the idea early on, and I flip-flop because, he makes mistakes and there's things he has to clean up. But I think Daboll's doing a pretty good job. And honestly, I thought that game he played on Monday night was the best game he's played in his career. And he's had 4 touchdowns, like 300-plus yards, 4 touchdown games in the NFL. He did it against the Jets. He's done it against Washington. He did it against Detroit, I think, his rookie year too. He had games like that. So he's had really great statistical games. The Saints game last year. But I think that game was the best one because he made the rush miss he was the only thing that was working for the Giants. Him and Saquon. Saquon made a run up here out of nowhere. He's back. And Daniel Jones just made rushes miss and made things happen off strip. The throw he had to Richie James off his back foot was the best throw I've seen him make, and the best throw I've seen from any quarterback this season. That was the best throw. That was incredible. Off the back foot, throwing it to the sideline like that over a defender underneath. Yo, he's got real talent. He's got real talent. There's something there. I think the issue you have is like if there's a quarterback in the draft you love and you're a different regime, I can't fault them if they move on. That's my thing. That's why I say what I say. Where I say, okay, like move on. But the talent I saw from him, where I compared him to Josh Allen before he went superhuman, like I knew what I was seeing. The stats that they have at this, like comparatively to this point in their careers, right, where before they got that top-notch grade A weapon, it's the same. It's the same stats. In fact, Daniel Jones is more accurate and he threw less interceptions. He's fumbled the ball more. You could say that against him, but this season he hasn't fumbled it at all. He's done a great job. And as many times he got hit in that game, not coughing it up is an accomplishment. Even he was getting killed in that game. So I think that he has a lot of talent. Quarterback is not the Giants' biggest problem. It's cleaning up the records that get him left in his wake. And Golladay, I just like an idiot. I damn near do. I bought the day the Giants.
You called him Baby Megatron.
I did, and I call him Baby Julio. Don't misquote me, Clarence, whatever. Don't misquote me. But what I did the day the Giants signed Golladay, I remember this. My dad came home from work. I was all excited. I remember buying like this big dinner at the crib. I was so excited the Giants got a receiver. What an idiot I ended up being. The egg on my face is crazy, but it's all right, man. Like, look, I think they're heading in the right direction. I think they have the right coach in place to get the most out of Daniel Jones, and who knows, he might just play well enough under these really adverse scenario to where you might bring him back. That could happen. That could definitely happen. It's within the Giants might win too many games to begin being the running for a guy like C.J. Stroud. Anyways, I think they're going to win too many games. They're going to win 8 games. I think they will. The record just lends itself to that. So, I
think that's the positive, though. I think that's what you got to look at, right? Like Daniel Jones has been the quarterback for the Giants for the past few years. He knows the system. He has this great coach that just came in this year, right? If they have a good relationship this season and you see the talent, as if you're Dable, if you see the talent and see how he's progressing and he's doing a good job, like bring him back. The marriage isn't broken in any way like other teams have in that situation where you just want to cut ties with the quarterback, right? Because the media gets involved and all that other stuff, and there's too much outside noise. But if Daniel Jones is playing well and the talk around him is positive and it's working for the Giants, like why not bring him back? Because then all you really have to do is focus on fixing that offensive line and get him some weapons, and then you have a solid offense.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, to your point. The difference between like him and I've said Baker Mayfield. I've used Baker Mayfield as an example a million times. People thought I was crazy when I said it. I remember the hate comments after when Antonio posted these clips of me talking about Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones. But Baker Mayfield and even Jimmy Garoppolo, same thing, really. The reason why their team's going to move away from them is because they're put in the perfect situation, throwing from clean pockets to great weapons, and they still don't get the job done. I don't think that if you put Daniel Jones in that situation with a clean pocket and great players around him, like great players like Kittle, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, right? These guys that Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield both had. You're not going to see Daniel Jones fumble that opportunity. You're going to see a guy really play good football, get the ball to his receivers, play point guard. He's going to do a really good job of it. He is. I think he has all that talent to do that kind of stuff. So if the Giants never get there with him and get him a receiver, a true A receiver, man, it would be a lot of fun to watch, and it'd be really gratifying because Giants fans have kind of been through the ringer with him in New York. And also this too, I'll leave it here. Daniel Jones plays anywhere else in the country. It's not as big of a story. It's not as big of a deal. No one's saying he sucks. No one's calling for this guy's head. That's just a fact. He plays in New York. It's a magnifying glass. New York. Like the pressure is different in New York. And he's built for it. He's never really folded under all of this, right? I can appreciate that. I really can appreciate his mental toughness. That's a real thing. He has that in spades. So, hey man, I think the Giants will give him a shot, but I don't think quarterback's the biggest problem the Giants have. Moral of the story. I think he can be I'll say it again, he could be a top 10 to 15 in that range quarterback when things are right. I think that's what we're looking at. And that can win you a Super Bowl. Yes, it can. I think it can.
That'll be somewhere else though.
Maybe. but and look, Miles most likely. No, seriously, it's highly likely, but they might win too many games and not be in the race for one of these guys. That's my Anthony Richardson's gonna fall, so maybe they take him as a developmental guy. Richardson's gonna fall.
Don't touch that guy, man. Don't touch that guy.
Oh no,
I'm a Gators fan. Don't touch that guy. He's not.
That gotta be. You don't want Daboll to touch that guy. Can you imagine what Daboll will do to him?
No, true. I've seen what he could do with Josh Allen.
Hey, Josh,
are you willing to bet like another 5 years wasted on trying to fix a guy that? I mean, he's talented, but
I'd rather salvage Daniel Jones than do that. Just me. I'm just sick and tired of losing, but I think that if you went Anthony Richardson, I could deal with that. Like he's very talented. You know, he's a lot like Josh Allen. Josh Allen wasn't accurate either. Josh Allen wasn't the best mechanically either, but they both are just amazing athletic specimens. They both are. So, you know, I think that Daboll, that's the kind of mold. He fits the mold. Him and that guy Levis out of Kentucky, they fit the mold of what Daboll likes to do and what he can turn guys into.
But none of those guys are going to be successful if you don't you drafted Wan'Dale, right? He's supposed to do something this year. He's been banged up. You drafted Kadarius last year.
He's out of here though.
He's been hurt every single chance he has. Like
that's
he's
not their pick.
Every chance.
Yeah.
You got Galladay. He runs like he's Alshon Jeffrey now. Like he's the slowest receiver in the league. Can't get any separation.
True.
It's like, who is he throwing to? He's throwing to Rich Homie Quan.
But
he's balling. He's balling too, which is sad.
It's funny though because I was telling my dad this too. The Giants' best receiver gets paid like $500,000.
Yeah, he's a practice squad player.
That he's our best receiver. Rich Homie Quan is our bet. We're referring to Richie James. Is our best receiver. He's our best receiver, and that's when that's the situation your quarterback's in. How can you possibly judge him? Like you can't judge his touchdown, the amount of touchdowns he's thrown. You can barely judge the interceptions. You can judge certain ones. You gotta watch carefully though. It's just hard to judge him and say, hey, he's not the one when that's the situation you put him in. Joe Burrow had a bad offensive line. People like to use that example. I heard Colin Cowherd on TV. Oh, Joe Burrow had a bad offensive line. He still made plays. He had T. Higgins. They gave him Jamar Chase. Damn near got him killed in the process of getting him Jamar Chase, but did that. They gave him Jamar Chase, and they gave him, and he has, what's his name? Boyd, who's amazing. Amazing. And he had Uzoma, the tight end. He had weapons to the ball too. Daniel Jones doesn't even have that. So guys aren't getting open quick. It's a complete nightmare. No receivers, terrible line play. How can you say someone sucks? That's just my thing. If we're being real, I don't get it. I don't get it, but
that's fair.
Now, it might be, as you just mentioned, the weapons. O-line might not be as bad as we may think because if no wide receivers are getting open, no O-line in the NFL is going to be able to hold up for but so long.
Man,
it does not matter.
Evan Neal.
Yeah, but I don't like that. I understand that, but Daniel Jones was getting pressure within the first second and a half with getting the ball.
I want to be careful about judging Evan Neal early. By the way, I hear that.
Why? Because of Andrew Thomas? Is that what you're going to say?
Andrew Thomas was that bad early on, and he's the best left tackle in football right now. So he buried Micah Parsons. The reps are bad. He was burying, and I said in the podcast last week with Niall, I said that guy's not gonna get. He might get one sack. That's it. He didn't get any sacks. He had 2 pressures.
Flu game.
Huh?
He was on his flu game though.
He was on his flu game, but
True.
Thomas. But you know how many tackles can handle him even on the flu game? Not many. He's still amazing. He's still lightning quick, right? Like Thomas was burying him. And he put him in the ground, pancaking that guy.
He created a lot for DeMarcus Lawrence though.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he was up. Well, DeMarcus Lawrence was teeing off on the rookie. And yeah. I just don't want to judge him too early. I've seen this movie before. Tackles take a long time. It's a hard learning curve, especially when you're as big as he is. Getting off that edge, getting into your set quick. Takes a long time to get good at that. Let's just give it a minute. Give it that a minute. Let it breathe. I ain't mad about that. The rest of the O-line sucks, and Gettleman left up in a mess. But the Giants ultimately will be fine. They're in good hands, no matter what they do. But moral of the story, Daniel Jones is better than you think he is. If you watch him, he is better than you think he is.